Hello, my beloved students of intermediate level. I'd like to welcome all of you today to my new topic. That means I'm going to start a new topic today. In my last class, I was able to come to an end regarding modifier. I conducted 5 classes to complete modifier in details. That's why I'd like to start with a new topic. I'd like to start a new topic, and the topic selected for today is right forms of verb. This topic is not only important for higher secondary level, it is also important for the students of lower secondary as well as secondary level. So my dear students, let us start our lesson with right forms of verb, and for this part I will teach you a lot of rules and regulations for 3 classes. So in order to complete right forms of verb, I'd like to conduct 3 classes, and if you remain serious in these 3 classes, I'm sure you will get the ins and outs of right forms of verb. Okay, so my dear students, let us start with the definition. What is right form of verb? Okay, look at the board. Right forms of verb. Right forms of verb. Look at, if I say right is a verb, look at the board. Right is a verb. This verb has some forms. Right is the best form, I can say. Right is the best form. What is the present form? The present form of right is right. Another form, past form. Look at, it's wrote. What is the past participle form of right? Written. Look at. Then every verb has 3 forms. There are some other forms, like this is base form. If I say right, then S, that is rights. This is another form of verb. To write, this is infinitive form. Writing, it might be both gerund and participle form. Okay, that means a verb, dear students, a verb has a lot of forms. A verb has a lot of forms, but are we allowed to take all the forms in a sentence? Definitely we are not. We are not allowed to use all the forms of verb in a sentence. In a sentence, we need to use the correct or proper form of verb. Correct or proper form of verb. So in a sentence or English sentences, proper forms of verb or right forms of verb or correct forms of verbs are taken according to what? According to person, number, tense. Look at person, number and tense. So in English sentences, we need to ensure the right form of verb or proper form of verb or correct form of verb according to person, number and tense. This is why we can say right forms of verb refers to the process. Right forms of verb refers to the process by which we accept or we take the appropriate form of verb according to person, number and tense. So what is right forms of verb? Right forms of verb is a process. Right forms of verb is a process by which we accept or take the appropriate form of verb according to person, number and tense. That means there is person, there is number, there is tense. Okay, we have to take appropriate form of verb according to person, according to tense, and according to number. This process is called right forms of verb. So this is all about the definition of right forms of verb. There are some rules and regulations. There are some rules and regulations for which we need to use different forms of verbs. Now let us start with the rules and regulations that will help us to ensure the right forms of verb in the English sentences. In English sentences, dear students, before starting the rules, I'd like to give you an example. Look at. We are looking forward to enjoy our independent life soon. This is an example, dear students. We are looking forward to enjoy our independent life soon. There are a lot of forms of enjoy. Which one should we use? Should we use enjoy? Should we use enjoyed? Should we use enjoy? Should we use A plus C? That means enjoy and enjoyed, both of them are appropriate. Which one is the best answer? Which one is the only answer here? After look forward to or looking forward to, there is a rule. After look forward to or looking forward to, we need to use is the best form? No. We need to use ing with the verb. So what should be the answer? The answer should be enjoy. So there are some rules and regulations for which you are not allowed to use all the forms of verb. You have to use the right or appropriate form of verb according to person, number and tense, and some other obligations. So dear students, up to this part, we have been able to understand the definition of right forms of verb. Now I'd like to give you some rules and regulations. Please try to understand the rules and regulations. It will be effective. It will be really beneficial to you for your upcoming examinations. It will be beneficial to you for your university admission test. It will be beneficial to you for your competitive job exams that you will face after 4 or 5 years. So try to take preparation from now on. So my dear students, be ready with your pens and answer scripts, and I will write down the rules and regulations on the board, and I will request you to write down the rules and regulations in your answer scripts. And after 3 classes, there would be an assignment of right forms of verb, and everything will be crystal clear to you. So dear students, let us start with rule number 1. In order to teach you right forms of verb, I will apply a different method. I will not tell you the rules and regulations at first. I will give you example as first after your effort. At first you will have to find out the answer. I will tell you the answer, and after your writing I will teach you the rules and regulations. So at first example, then the rule. Our today's method will be different from previous classes. At first I am going to give you the problem. You have to find out the solution by yourselves, and then I will tell you the answer. Okay, now rule number 1. Rule number 1, at first the example. Look at the board, dear students, and you can write the examples in your answer scripts. Both the old and the young get pleasure from cricket. My first example, under rule number 1. My second example, the boy get up from bed early in the morning. Example number 3. I in the bracket B present yesterday. What should be the answer? What should be the answer for example number 1? For example number 2 and for example number 3 under rule number 1. The first answer would be, the answer is get. The answer is get, and the second one is gets, and the third one is I was. But why? The first rule is that, write down the rule number, dear students. If the subject, look at the board, what is the subject of the sentence? The subject of the first sentence is the old and the young. The old and the young is the subject of the sentence, and this subject has become plural. The old and the young is the subject of the sentence, and this subject has become plural. And what is the second one? The boy. The boy is a singular subject, and I is a singular subject also. My first rule is, if the subject of a sentence is singular, if the subject of a sentence is singular, definitely the verb will be singular. If the subject of a sentence is plural, the verb will be plural. I'm going to repeat. If the subject of a sentence is singular, verb will also be singular. If the subject of a sentence is plural, the verb will be plural. This is actually called subject-verb agreement. This is actually called subject-verb agreement. Okay. If the subject is singular, verb will be singular. If the subject is plural, verb will be plural. This is our rule number 1. If subject is singular, verb will be singular. If subject is plural, verb will be plural. Okay. This here, the first sentence has the subject the old and the young. This is a plural subject. That's why we need to use plural verb. Okay. It would be get. The boy get. The boy is third person singular. Third person singular. If a subject is third person singular, we have to use s or es with the verb. If the sentence is in present indefinite tense. Okay. That's why the answer is gets. Now another example. Here the subject is singular. Here the subject is singular. That's why I have to use the verb. I have to use the singular verb. And what is the singular verb? In B, you have to use past tense, dear students, yesterday. In B, you have was or were. You have to take singular verb. And what is the singular one? Was is the singular. That's why I have to use I was present yesterday. So according to our first rule, if the subject is singular, verb will be singular. If the subject is plural, verb will be plural. And in English, this grammar is called subject-verb agreement. So, in order to ensure the appropriate form of verb, we have to consider person, number, tense, and there are some other issues like voice and subject-verb agreements. So, we have to look into, we have to give pressure, we have to give priority on person, number, tense, subject-verb agreement, and voice. I think you have been able to understand rule number 1. Now, let us start with rule number 2. Now, let us study rule number 2, dear students. This one is very, very important. There are different rules and regulations for which we need to use the base form of the verb. There are different options or obligations. There are different obligations for which we need to use base form of the verb. We need to learn rule number 2 depending on this fact. Now, rule number 2. In order to, I have told you that today I will give you the example at first. You have to try by yourself, then I will give you the answer. In order to create a peaceful, society, we need to consider others' interests. This is example number 2, example number 1 under rule number 2. Another example for you. We had better to take prompt actions. Number 3, our principal sir is going to introduce online examination soon. A third example or fourth example. The students, our fourth example. We ought to discharge our responsibilities. The first one, in order to create a peaceful society, we need to consider others' interests. We had better, in the bracket, to take prompt actions. Number 3, our principal sir is going to, in the bracket, introduce online examination soon. Fourth example, we ought to discharge our responsibilities. What is the first answer, dear students? What is the first one? Create or to create or creating or created? Which one should we take? Consider to take or took or taken. What should be the answer here, dear students? For example number 2, we had better to take or taking or taken. What should be the answer? Okay, I am going to tell you the answer. Okay, look at the board. I have combined 2 or 3 rules. I have combined 2 or 3 rules in rule number 2. Actually, I don't want to count a lot of rules. Actually, I have combined 3 rules under rule number 2. I'm going to tell you. Look at me, my dear students. After 2 or in order to, we need to use the base form of the verb. Write down the rule, please. After 2 or in order to, we need to use the base form of the verb. Number 1, after modal auxiliary, we need to use the base form of the verb. After modal auxiliary, we need to use the base form of the verb. So what is the first one? After 2 or in order to, we have to take the base form of the verb. After modal auxiliary, we have to take the base form of the verb. After had better, had rather, would better, would rather, we have to take the base form of the verb. After cannot but, could not but, we have to take the base form of the verb. Okay? I think it is you are finding it difficult to write down. Okay, I am going to write the rules for you on the board, and you are requested to take down or note down. The first answer, in order to create, the answer is create. We need to consider, the answer is considered. After had better, we have to use the base form, the answer is take, it would be take. After to, we have to use the base form, it would be introduce. After ought to is the modal auxiliary, and after modal auxiliary, we have to use the base form of the verb. Clear to you, my dear students? Now I am going to write down the rules for you. For rule number 2, dear students, 2 or in order to, 2 or in order to plus base form. This is A under rule 2. After 2 or in order to, we need to use the base form. After modal auxiliary, we need to use base form. Number C, after had better, had rather, would better, would rather. We have to use the base form. Had better, had rather, would better, would rather. After these words, we have to use the base form of the verb. Okay? Next one. Cannot but or could not but. We need to use base form. Look at my dear students, I have combined 4 rules here. After 2 or in order to, we need to use the base form. After modal auxiliary, we need to use the base form. After had better, had rather, would better, would rather, we need to use the base form of the verb. And the last one is after cannot but and cannot, could not but, we need to use the base form of the verb. Is the rule clear to you, my dear students? I can hope that the rule is clear to you. Okay, look at, after to or in order to, we need to use the base form of the verb. After cannot but and could not but, we have to use the base form of the verb. Okay. Now I'd like to start rule number 3. Before giving you the rule, before teaching you the rules and regulations, I have told you that I will give you example at first. So it is our turn. So it is our turn to give you example for rule number 3. Look at. I got used to. I got used to. Saved 2 taka daily. I got used to save 2 taka daily. Example number 2. We could not but set up. We could not but set up a charitable dispensary. We could not, sorry, it would be could not help. We could not help set up a charitable dispensary. For example number 3. My father was used to walk by the riverside. Look at, what should be the answer? I got used to save 2 taka daily. We could not help set up a charitable dispensary. My father was used to walk by the riverside. What should be the answer, my dear students? Write your answer in the comment box. Write your answer in the comment box, dear students. The first one is save or to save, or save or to save or saved. Which one you should take? Write in the comment box. Okay, I am going to tell you the answer. Most of you have written really well, excluding 1 or 2 students. That means 1 or 2 students have made mistakes in terms of taking the correct forms of verb. Look at. In rule number 2, I have told you that in rule number 2, according to rule number 2, I have taught you that after to or in order to, we need to use the base form of the verb. We need to use the base form of the verb according to rule number 2. But according to rule number 3, after get used to, look forward to, be used to, addicted to, devoted to, confess to, object to, approach to. After all these 2, you have to use ing with the verb. You have to use ing with the verb. After used to, my dear students, look at me. After used to, you have to use the base form of the verb. After used to, you have to use the base form of the verb. But if any be verb if any be verb like am, is, are, was, were is used before used to, you have to use ing with the verb. Okay? And according to the second example, after cannot help and could not help, we have to use the we have to add ing with the verb. So the first answer is saving, the second answer is setting, the third answer is walking. You have to put ing with all the verbs used in these three examples. So dear students, now I'd like to give you the rule and you are requested to write down. Okay? Look at with a view to. Look forward to. Addicted to. Devoted to. Get used to. Look at with a view to, look forward to, addicted to, devoted to, get used to. Object to. Confess to. Object to, confess to. Approach to. Accustomed to. Look at please. Accustomed to, approach to, with a view to, look forward to, addicted to, devoted to, get used to, object to, confess to. Okay? I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there is another one, and that is be plus used to. Be plus used to. Here look at the before used to, there must be the use of be verb. If you get be verb before used to, you have to put ing with the verb. Okay? From this rule, question was given in the previous admission test of Dhaka University. From this one, be plus used to. Okay? Accustomed to, approach to, with a view to, look forward to, addicted to, devoted to, get used to, object to, confess to, and be used to. We have to use ing with the verb. Can I say verb plus ing? Okay, look at the board, my dear students. I'm going to give you another example. In order to satisfy himself, an honest man in order to satisfy himself, an honest man is used to work for others. Look at what should be the answer. What should be the answer? In order to satisfy himself, an honest man is used to work for others or working for others. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? What should be the answer, dear students? It should be working. So after used to, you have to use the base form of the verb. But if If be verb is used before used to, we have to use ing with the verb. This is rule number 3. After cannot help or could not help. Look at after cannot, cannot help or could not help. We have to use ing with the verb. Is it clear to you, my dear students? Up to rule number 3, I have taught you some 6 or 7 rules, but these 6 or 7 rules have been used in 3 rules. Okay, so my dear students, let us start with rule number 4. My dear students, let us treat rule number 4, and that is, look at the board. I am going to give you the example first, and then I will give you the solution. Okay. There are many people who not take in the bracket physical exercise. This is example number 1. Now example number 2. Allah helps those who help themselves. The baby which cry, the baby which cry now is hungry. Example number 4. All that in the bracket glitter is not gold. What is your student? What is your answer, my dear students? There are many people who not take physical exercise. There are many people who not take physical exercise. Thank you. The second one is Allah helps those who help themselves. The baby which cry now is hungry. All that glitter is not gold. What should be the answer? Write down. What should be the answer, my dear students? What should be the answers? Carry on. Okay, you are writing the answers in the comment box. Very good. Okay, thank you. Look at the board. Rule number 4. Rule number 4 of right forms of verb. Rule number 4 of right forms of verb that I am teaching right now is dependent on the use of relative pronoun. Rule number 4 of right forms of verb. Rule number 4 of right forms of verb that I am going to teach you right now is totally dependent on relative pronoun. Totally dependent of relative pronoun. My question is, what is our relative pronoun? My question is, what our relative pronoun is. Can you please tell me the definition of relative pronoun? Look at. Look at. The pronoun which is used, the pronoun which is used, look at please, the pronoun which is used after a noun or pronoun, the pronoun which is used after a noun or pronoun and is used, and works like a conjunction. Look at the pronoun which is used after a noun or pronoun and works like a conjunction is called a relative pronoun. Look at, my dear students, the pronoun which is used after a noun or pronoun and works like a conjunction is called a relative pronoun. So relative pronoun itself works as a conjunction. Relative pronoun itself works as a conjunction, and this relative pronoun is used. This relative pronoun is used after a noun and pronoun. What does it mean? It means before a relative pronoun, a noun or a pronoun must be used. Relative pronoun is used after noun and pronoun. In other words, we can say before a relative pronoun, a noun and a pronoun must be used. Okay? Now let us calculate. This is the relative pronoun. This is the relative pronoun. I have told you that before a relative pronoun, definitely there must be the use of a noun or pronoun. What is the noun or pronoun before this relative pronoun? This noun is people. Okay? In my second sentence, who is the relative pronoun? Okay? And what is the noun or pronoun that is used here? And that is those. Relative pronoun is used, the baby. And relative pronoun is that. Noun and pronoun is all. So before relative pronoun, there must be the use of a noun or pronoun. Is it clear to you? This noun or pronoun, my dear students, this noun or pronoun is simply known as antecedent. The noun or pronoun used before a relative pronoun is simply known as antecedent. Look at. What is the antecedent of the first sentence? Dear students, what is the antecedent of the first sentence? Definitely people. Antecedent. What is the antecedent of the second example? Definitely those. What is the antecedent of the third example? Baby. What is the antecedent of the fourth example? All. Is it clear to you? I think you have got me. Relative pronoun is who? People is the antecedent. Relative pronoun is who? Those is the antecedent. Here, which is the relative pronoun? Baby is the antecedent. Here, that is the relative pronoun, and all is the antecedent. My dear students, if you get any verb, just after relative pronoun, look at. If you get any verb immediately after relative pronoun, if you get any verb immediately after relative pronoun, this one, this one, this one, this one. If you get any verb used immediately after relative pronoun, that verb must agree according to the antecedent. According to the antecedent. According to the antecedent. Look at it. What should be the first answer? What should be the first answer, my dear students? There are many people. People is third person plural. So we have to take plural verb. Doesn't or don't? Definitely don't. People don't take physical exercise. What is the first answer? There are many people who don't take physical exercise. The second example, Allah helps those who help themselves. Okay. The third example, here an adverb now has been used. If you get any adverb like now, you have to use present continuous tense. The answer is the baby which is crying. The baby which is crying. And the third example is all that glitter or glitters. All that glitter or glitters. All that glitter or glitters, my dear students. Here, all is third person singular. Don't take it plural, please. Here, all is third person singular. That's why we have to use all that glitters is not gold. Okay. Any more question? If you have any question, write in the comment box. I will definitely check your answer after the class is over. I will definitely check your answer. If you have any question, write in the comment box. I will be there for you to answer. Okay. Another example for rule number 4. I'm going to give you another example for rule number 4, and you have to find out the solution by yourself. Okay, and I will give you the question at first. Look at this. The doctors who dash for the suffering community dash immortal. I'm going to give you the example. I'm going to give you the options right now. You have to take two verbs. The first for subordinate clause and the second for principal clause. What should be the answer? Look at the board, my dear students. Works is works are, work is work are. There is a question in the comment box. How is all third person singular? How is all third person singular? The person who has asked this question is requested to search the internet. The answer is there for you, and I can tell you the answer, but it will take a lot of time. Okay. What should be the answer, my dear students? The doctors who, the doctors who, the doctor is third person plural, my dear students. The doctors, here the subject is third person plural, so you have to take plural verb. You can't take works, you can't take s or es with the verb. This one cannot be taken, this one cannot be taken. The following two options can be taken. This work is correct, this was incorrect, but we have to take one, either is or are. The doctors who, for example, who work, the doctors who work for suffering community, here the subordinate clause is who work for the suffering community, okay. Subordinate clause is okay now, there is no gap in subordinate clause. I think if you get any antecedent, if you get any antecedent at the very beginning of a sentence, my dear students, if we get any antecedent at the beginning of a sentence, the verb of both the principal clause and subordinate clause must agree according to the antecedent. I am going to repeat, my dear students. If any sentence is started with the use of antecedent, if any sentence is started with the use of antecedent, the verb of both the principal clause and subordinate clause must agree according to the antecedent. Okay, that's why I can say here the verb will agree according to the antecedent. And what is the antecedent here? The antecedent is the doctors. Okay, the doctors is the subject and then the verb. The doctors is immortal or are immortal. Okay. Okay. So it should be work and are. So my dear students, I have completed up to rule number 4. Another rule for you, and this would be our last rule for today. I am going to write down the example at first, and you are requested to identify your own answer. And after your trying, I will try my best to explain the rule. The bag including other materials be found yesterday. What should be the answer, my dear students? What should be the answer? What should be the answer? Okay, the answer should be was. Why is the answer was, my dear students? Look at, the answer is was. Now I am going to tell you why this answer is correct. This is rule number 5. Look at with, along with, together with, accompanied by, accompanied with, and not in addition to including as well as. Look at the board, my dear students. If, as well as, including, with, along with, together with, accompanied by, and not in addition to. Connect two subjects. Connect two subjects. For example, I along with my father. I, along with my father, in the bracket B, willing to visit the Taj. Okay? I, along with my father, in the bracket, I, along with my father, in the bracket B, willing to visit the Taj. What should be the answer? If two subjects, one is here, two persons, or you can say two subjects have been connected. The first one is I and the second one is my father. If the above written as well as including with, along with, together with, accompanied by, accompanied with, and not in addition to, if these words connect to subjects or two persons, the verb must agree according to the first subject. Okay, the verb must agree according to the first subject. So what should be the answer? My father is willing to visit the Taj, or I am willing to visit the Taj. It should be I am. So my dear students, I have completed 5 rules today, and I hope all of you have tried your best to understand me, and from my side I have tried my best to make the things clear. Okay, time has come to stop for today, and tomorrow I have a class. Tomorrow I have a class with you. I will continue with some more rules and regulations related to right forms of verb. Hopefully you will be benefited. So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you for being with me. I am going to conduct another class tomorrow, and you are requested to participate. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.